All right, we're going to be journaling and backtesting. Well, I am going to be journaling and backtesting, and whoever wants to watch is welcome to watch. But yeah, today was a great day for me, so I'm pretty happy about that. So I need to clear out my chart here, but looks like these draws on liquidity that we talked about earlier today were eventually hit. But yeah, this should be a good journaling session here. This is going to be a great day to backtest and take a look at what happened. So let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, let's start out by switching actually to the other screen, and let's get rid of this. And yeah, let's just look at the daily candle and understand what happened. And also, actually, I need to get up chat real quick. Hang on. All right. Actually, I need to get up. All right, here we go. So switch over here. So let's just start from the beginning of the day, go throughout the entire day, and talk about exactly what happened from beginning to end. So, all right. Wednesday, January 15th, 2024. Without doing any analysis today, and being somewhat it seemed like price was bearish going into the day. However, after doing some digging during pre-market analysis, I found some pretty incredible things which quickly helped me to realize today was likely to expand to the upside. Okay, let's switch over to my other screen. The first thing that I will say is, let me go over here. We perfectly push into this 12-hour stat map level and this 6-hour bullish stat map level, which to me was just like crazy how perfect this was. So bring this over here. Oh, can you see my screen? Yeah. Okay. The first thing being that Asia's lows were swept, and not only were they swept, but they were swept perfectly into both the 6-hour and 12-hour stat map levels seen below. When you see perfect reactions off of stat map levels like this, especially after sweeping significant liquidity, this is incredibly significant. Sweeping key liquidity like this. So yeah, that was the first thing. Also, I don't know who's watching, but if you want to give me anything that you saw in the day, just put it in the chat and we'll review it. We'll work together. But yeah, this was actually so crazy that this happened. When I saw this, I was like, that's insane. All right, back to the other chart. So then after that happened, that was the first thing I noticed. After that happened, I'll also note that we also pushed into this new week opening gap. So not only was it both the stat map levels, but it was also a new week opening gap, and you can see that here. So when I click new week opening gaps, you can see this purple box shows up. And so I just drew it on my chart here. So we perfectly also swept Asia's lows into this new week opening gap. Not only that, but we also swept the lows into this new week opening gap. Typically, if you ever see Asia's lows get swept and the market starts expanding the other way aggressively, that is a very strong sign that it's a London reversal, New York continuation day. Or maybe you could just say this is like an AMD day. Oh, you guys can't see my screen. We were, especially because we were within a possible higher time frame buy model. I'll just copy and paste it for my high time frame analysis. But you can see that we swept out previous week's low, previous month's low, and then a different previous week's low into this key level. And we got SMT with a low off the screen. And we had the regular trading hours gap above. And the market gets drawn to this with a really high probability. So let's go back over to my journal. I thought it was a possible buy model because we swept out pretty significant liquidity, previous month's low, into a key level and got SMT. So that was the main reason I thought that it could have been a buy model, is because if you ever see a sweep like a significant low like this into a key level and then get SMT, especially if it happens at a stat map level, that's like light bulb right there. You know, okay. Especially when there's generated liquidity above like that. So that's the other thing, is we had this really nice generated liquidity here. And we left this data high from Friday. Not only that, but also we left a data high from Friday and really good generated liquidity as well, which further increased my conviction in a short-term buy model. So after all of that happened, the market stalls a bit at PM's highs from yesterday, which were right here. Let's switch over to the other screen. Boom. The market stalls right when we hit this. This was a significant draw on liquidity. Back to my other screen. The first target the market wanted to go to was PM's highs from yesterday. You can see we reached that, and then the market consolidates for a bit after. Okay. And if you guys see anything at any time, just let me know, and we could take a look at it. So, as well, let's pull up our time levels. I'm curious. I just wanted to look at that for a second. Okay, so what happened next? When did I get on the charts? I got on the charts, I think at 8 or 7. Yeah. So let's go back to the other screen. And so what happened right when we were going into CPI? Well, on the lower time frame, we got this SMT. And this actually was like, when this happened in live time, I was like, oh my gosh, that seems pretty convincing. Because I was already feeling pretty bullish, but then we end up getting this SMT. I think it was right here. And one thing I've noticed about these SMTs is you can get SMT and then the market will still wick below. So we got SMT here. The market will still wick below like this. But the SMT stays valid this whole time. Even though the market wicked below here, the SMT still sponsored this move higher. So that is something that is really valuable that I learned about today, is like you can get an SMT like that and get a wick below, and then it's still, the SMT can still sponsor the move higher. Then right when we were going into CPI, I was already bullish, but this was the cherry on top. We got this SMT, and something very interesting I've noticed over time is if you get an SMT and a wick and aggressive, thanks for the liquidity wick below, the SMT can still sponsor the move higher. Basically, the SMT stays valid, which is so crazy, but I've seen it happen. I don't know, maybe I shouldn't say that. I find it very interesting. Yeah, I'm just gonna say crazy. I mean, it sure looks like the SMT sponsored that move higher, even though we wicked below. So that's actually so crazy. Anyway, the next thing I want to look at is I want to take a look at the CBDR in more detail. And so this is something that I was looking at briefly during the morning. It's not actually the CBDR. You can use Asia, but what it is you take the consolidation. So like in this case, the consolidation we had was pretty obviously like this little range here. Now, typically you normally use the CBDR, which that's from 14 o'clock until 20 o'clock. I'm still getting better with it, but I've noticed it works sometimes, so I think it's valuable. And essentially, typically, the market will sometimes consolidate during this time. And when that happens, you can use it to project out possible areas the market's going to go. So let's just try and find an example, because, I mean, I know it is valid sometimes. Like maybe this, but no. That day was a half day. Maybe there's no good examples. Anyway, I just want to try this out. I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm interested in just learning new things. So one thing I was thinking is just taking Asia's range and projecting it like this. I don't know. I'm still trying to understand that, honestly. I do think there is something to it, but I don't know. I just watched the ICT mentorship and I saw ICT like talking about that a lot, but like I haven't figured it out yet, so I don't know. I'm not. You know what? I'm just not gonna mess with it right now. It's fine. Okay. What else do we look at now? So we talked about the SMT. Let's go back to the other screen. So the SMT still worked, which is just so crazy to me. Let's talk about the first trade I took. That's where we should start. Let's talk about the first trade I took. So the first trade I took that I saw was on actually pretty low time frame, and the only reason that I took it was because I've seen this happen a lot where so we had this data high over here, right? All the way over here, and we come up and sweep this data high. So this was that first target. Okay, so after we get that move higher, we accelerate right to where? Our draw on liquidity. The data high and RTH gap. So you can see that here's the data high, but then we also had, if I switch this to regular trading hours, we also had this gap. And what happens is this gap is called a regular trading hours gap, and it is literally just the gap between the market close and the market open. So it doesn't include the overnight trading. And it makes a lot of sense because what do we know? The market likes to target London and Asia's highs and lows. So the gap between the open and close is going to include London and Asia. So you typically will see this overnight price area targeted. It's the RTH gap, right? So then going back to our electronic trading hours, we had the data high and we had the RTH gap that were both draws on liquidity, and the market expands up towards both of them. Let's take a screenshot of this. And you can see we fill the RTH gap almost all the way. And then the first trade I took was okay, but it wasn't anything super special. And to be honest, was a little risky, but I did think that it would work, so I tried it on a single account. The idea was that we hit the data high, and typically after a large expansion towards a key draw on liquidity like this, you will at least get a low time frame retracement. So I played that into that idea. So here we have the data high here. And then what happened was we had a really nice breaker, because this has the good signature in price where you get a high, a low, so a high, a low, here, wait, high, low, higher high, lower low. So it has the right signature in price. It's just like, it's really good signature, and it's also good because this move up aggressively sweeps out this high here. So it had really good signature to it, so I liked it a lot. So I marked out this as a breaker. I also marked this one out as a breaker. I was almost going to take this one, but I missed the entry. And then I saw this one. And then I was like, okay, this one looks good too. So marked this over as a breaker. Where's the... There it is. Okay. Breaker. There it is. And we sweep out this high. There was a breaker on the 32nd. We closed below it, which validated it. And since we swept the data high, I thought a very low time frame retracement was fair game. Whoops. Move attachment. Okay. So here we go. So I just shot for 1-to-1. Essentially just targeting this area here, because people that bought in this range are gonna get stopped out, right? And I think there was a low time frame fair value gap overlapping with it on the 15-second. Yeah. I guess it wasn't. I guess there wasn't really a fair value gap overlapping. No, there is. There's a fair value gap right here on the 15-second. Okay. But it was mostly just a signature and price type of thing. Like I just know that signature and price. I've seen it a million times. Okay. Now, that was the first trade I took. So, what was that? Let's put it in the journal, the trade log. I think I already put it in here actually, but that's okay. Yeah. There we go. And then make this background match up. Now, I don't know. My rating did go up, so that's good. But It's crazy because like I had this giant losing streak, and all these losses from back all the way over here are weighting down my wins. So like once these can finally go away, because it takes the average of the last 30 to apply it to my rating. Once these can go away, then hopefully my rating can go up a lot, which would be kind of cool. But we'll just have to see. So anyway, this was the trade. It was trade 74. This was trade 74, and it was just a 1-to-1. Okay, on to trade 75. So here, what happened? Well, maybe we should look at other trades you could have taken as well. So let's take a look at other trades you could take. I think that is beneficial to do. So, yeah, so we also had this breaker for value gap, and I knew this was gonna work too. Where you had, let's mark this out. Okay, so once again, remember we had the data high here. Now I'm curious if there were any other confluences with this, like maybe 4 hours, 2 hour, or 1 hour stat map levels to go along with it. Oh, we should be looking at this on NQ. Whoops. Okay, boom, boom. Okay, remove. Okay, so we had the data high above. We ended up hitting that right here. And then on the low time frame, let's see here. Oh yeah, we want to check for the stat map. Okay, so there's no stat map level here. That's okay. There was no stat map level to use as a confluence, but that is okay. But like new day opening gaps or something. Yeah, that's crazy actually. Oh my gosh. This was a nice confluence for this trade. So we had both, we were delivering from both this new day opening gap and so we had this new day opening gap and we had this new day opening gap. We're delivering from both of these. And what happens here? And we also have this next manipulation 1 hour manipulation level. power brush manipulation level. Now, you'd have to be quick on your feet to catch all this, but let's say you did, right? Let's say you did. Well, you can note here that we had a sweep of this high, and then we closed below this breaker, and we had a fair value gap overlapping with it right here. So this was a decent entry point for shorts right here. Stop loss above the breaker, or a little bit higher if you want to. And then I would probably just target this low. And this would have been a 2-to-1. Or if you put your stop loss like more above the breaker, then it'd be a 3-to-1. But yeah. That's a nice trade. Okay, then, honestly, at this point, I saw us drawing down towards this gap here. So, okay. So yeah, I saw the draw on liquidity as this 2-minute fair value gap. All this typing makes me want to play Nitro Type. So anyway, I took this on a 30-second, but I knew this was good because we were delivering essentially from this fair value gap. We had swept out this low already pretty aggressively, and let's see what else. I mean, anything else here I would not have probably seen, but okay. I think we might have been delivering from the. Never mind. Okay. So we were going, I guess it wasn't the macro, but I don't know, it was just really obvious AMD, right? I saw this as AMD. Where we had this 2-minute gap. What the? Anyway, this had really good signature in price to it as well, where we get this inversion right here. Let's get rid of stat map. Okay, so since the higher time frame was bullish, so we also had already had a 5-minute change in state of delivery, which was a nice reason for me to possibly switch bullish, right? So we already had this 5-minute CSD. Okay, so yeah, from here I framed this as a buy model. I saw this as a accumulation, manipulation, and then D. Now I know it wasn't perfectly in a macro, but with this good of AMD, I was okay with it not being in one, honestly. So I entered here and quickly moved my stop to break even. I mean, really quickly. I had my stop loss below this fair value gap here because it made sense for me to make sure it was underneath the fair value gap. Actually, I think it even had it a little lower, actually. And yeah, this was a 1-to-1, and then as well, I held a runner up to take out this LRLR here. So there we go. This took most off at 1-to-1, then held a runner for this liquidity above. That made it a 2-to-1. Really nice AMD. And had really good signature in price. I moved stop loss to break even extremely quickly on this one because I knew that if we were truly bullish, we should not stop, and I was right. So let's do trade of the day on Twitter now. I know I normally do that on my phone, but since I'm already on this is the trade of the day today. And let's see. We were also what was this? This was 9:30. We were also below the 9:30 open, which is another nice confluence. Like being below 9:30, it's like that's discount, right? So we were in discount of relative to 9:30. So measuring this out from premium to discount here, we were in discount. And no new day opening gap here, but yeah, let's see if we got SMT. That would make this even better. That's one of the things I like never remember if there was in the moment. I just see it and then I have to like remember, oh, was there actually SMT here or not? Let's go to the 1 minute chart. I'm looking at my other screen right now, so you guys can't see. But we have this low. Okay, doesn't look like it, doesn't look like it, doesn't look like it. Nah, I don't think there was, but that's okay. Alright, so we have this from premium to discount. We had below 930. What else? What other confluences did we have on this? I'm curious. It's just good to know for reference for the future, you know. We didn't quite hit that stat map distribution level. Otherwise, I would consider that a confluence. Yeah, I think that's about it. So we're gonna screenshot this and post it. Or post it on Twitter here. So I'm gonna show my other screen. Oh no, this one. Okay, we're going to post this trade of the day, Thursday. Wait, no, Wednesday. Date January 15th. 2025. Time, what time was this at? Like 9:39. 30-second IFEG. Really nice AMD within discount of low time frame range. High time frame was higher. Good LLR above, or good, I'll just say good liquidity above. Delivering from 2 minute FVG, low time frame, sweep, good signature. We ran out of room. And there's usually something else I put here. 30-second IFG. There's something else I put here usually. Oh, RR. In discount. What should I get rid of to make this add up to right amount of text? Nice. Draw on liquidity. I'll just say. Oh, I know. I'll just say. Okay. All right, that looks good. What do you guys think? Looks good? Let's post this. Okay. All right. Looking good, looking good. So we got trade of the day done. That's nice. Now I don't have to do that later. I usually do that while I'm at the gym and I'm on the treadmill. Like, I genuinely will be running and I'll try and make it. So if it ever looks funny, it's probably because I did it while I was running on the treadmill. I don't know why I made that part of my routine. I just started doing that. And then, I don't know. Like, it just became a habit to do trade of the day while I was running. So, anyway, that was really nice. And then we also had this inversion as well. Now, this one's, in my opinion, this one's a little better than this one because this one you're a lot further in premium. And in hindsight, like, looking at this in hindsight, this is a little bit more risky than I realized because you're within premium of this, but I thought the draw on liquidity was higher, so this ended up working out. I could have also seen this not working out, but it did work out, so that's nice. But a little bit more risky because we're just way higher in premium, but it did work. And I just targeted 1-to-1 here. Or like 1.4-to-1 or something. This one was later on, slightly more risky because we were in premium. We were further in premium, but I still thought it was worth taking on a singular account, and it worked out. Nah, I could have also seen this not working because look, also seen this not working simply because of how the candle closed. It closed with a large wick respecting the 1 minute gap above, which is not amazing, but I still tried it in the, but what should I say? Not amazing, but it wasn't. So yeah, that if I'm being really picky, that is a concern. But the hot. I'll just leave that. I mean, it's definitely not like the best trade in the world because of that wick, but the higher time frame was bullish. I don't know. There's pros and cons to this one. There's pros and cons to this one, which is why I took it on a singular account and not copy traded. Okay. Then we ended up continuing higher. I thought we were going to go straight to this 2 to 2.5 standard deviation of this move here. So we had this 2 to 2.5. We ended up not going right here right away, but I think we did end up going here later on. You can see that we did end up going here later on, and then we got our retracement. So at this point, I thought we were going to the 2 to 2.5 standard deviation right away, but that did not happen. We did go there later on though. So just keep that in mind. If like you think we have to go to a 2.5 standard deviation, like we don't. I mean, we might, but we don't have to. Maybe one reason we did genuinely I'm surprised we didn't, but I guess maybe there was a lower time frame thing. Yeah, you can see this lower time frame final move down. We actually did get to the 2 to 2.5. So that is one reason why we didn't have to keep going higher. Because if you measure it out like this, we actually did get to that 2 to 2.5. Reason we did not go to that 2 to 2.5 right away is if you actually break price down to the lower time frame and look at the 30-second, you can see the true final move down was here, and we did hit the 2 to 2.5 of that. So yeah, I think that was one reason. At this point, the market just starts generating a ton of liquidity. And once again, like price action after this time, it's just going to be harder to trade. So just keep that in mind. That's why I get off the charts when I do, because it's just like it's going to get uglier because it's just going to be consolidating for PM. So we end up going up there, and utilize this 15-minute order block to go up there, as seen right here. So, yeah, definitely really interesting. At this point, I wonder if we had stat map levels at all that overlapped with it. Yeah, you can see we were also at the 4-hour manipulation level. So that was a nice confluence as well. So let's screenshot that. So we inverse this 15-minute gap. We end up getting a change in state of delivery here on the 5-minute. Actually, let's just mark this out as a breaker. Actually, no, let's just do 5-minute CSD. CSD breaker and fair value gap right here. We got a 5-minute breaker we got 5-minute CISD, bullish CISD confirming the potential buy model. Then we had a 5-minute breaker and for value gap overlapping. You could enter their stop loss below the breaker targeting the LRR. This would be 5 to 1, which is crazy. I would take most off at 1 to 1, leaving runners for the LRR. yeah, that's how I'd frame that trade. Um, but yeah, I think that mostly covers price action. I mean, anything else was a little bit tougher to trade because market started chilling out a little bit. So yeah, I think that about covers it. Yeah. I'm getting kind of exhausted too. So if you guys have anything that you saw, definitely send it in the Discord. But I'm gonna end the stream now. So I will see you guys.